Hi, this is Marjolein Robertson for the Shetland Times podcast, and this week I'm joined with Lewie Peterson. Hi, Lewie.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good, yes. It's a beautiful day outside, a lovely winter's day, and trying to get back into the routine after the festive.
Yeah, I know, it's an amazing day. It's a shame to be back at work today.
Yeah, to an extent. Although I just think when you've been, like if you have a Christmas shutdown, like what I have at my work, then you're just kind of glad to get, be going to bed early again, getting up early and have a purpose to your life again.
I'm still trying to get into that swing of things. I'm still like 2 a.m. wide awake.
That's just the mind worrying. You need to get a notepad next to the bed and write down what you're thinking.
I think it's because I don't have a telly right now, so I have nothing to shut my brain off. Anywho, so can you tell us a bit about yourself, Louis?
Yes, I was born in Lerwick at the Gilbert Bain Hospital in 1985.
Details? What day?
The day, I think it was I'm sure my parents told me it was a Friday, and it was an absolute day of dirt. It was November, so it was like a proper November day, like really like windy and rainy. I'm sure it was like a storm actually that week, so I don't know if that's a good or a bad omen.
I'm not sure. I was born on a nice calm day. It was so nice, my mum went and bought an ice cream and then she started having her contractions. So she went to get Uncle John, who to drive her to hospital, and he's like, okay, but first, let me eat this ice cream. And then ate Mum's ice cream, then drove her to hospital.
Well, he had her ice cream.
Yeah, he ate her. Anyway, I digress. So, you're born in Shetland.
Yes, born in Shetland, lived here most of my life. I studied journalism in Edinburgh at university, around about the same time as you, actually.
Yeah, because we used to go drinking.
Yeah, there was lots of stuff happening.
Lots of Shetlanders. Up-Helly-A in Edinburgh.
Yeah, we had an Up-Helly-A that consisted of instead of going round the halls, we went round pubs. It was like a pub crawl. We'd all dress up, fancy dress, and take pals and classmates with us who had no idea what was going on. And there was like a small replica galley that was kind of like the size of a hurley.
It was amazing because we could put our jackets in it.
Yeah, you could put jackets, and then I think I certainly remember one year it got burnt on a roundabout near Lothian Road in Edinburgh, and the police got called out. And I do remember one guy that about our year who studied, he studied in Edinburgh as well. I'll not say his name, but all I'll say is that he has stood for Parliament, or one of the parliaments in recent years, for a party who is currently in power in one of the parliaments.
And his second name is...
Common name. I remember him, he was dressed as a pig and he was running away.
I thought it was a sheep.
Oh, it was a sheep, that was it, yeah. He was dressed as a sheep and he was running away down an alley from the police. That was an abiding memory of those times.
Well, yeah, because he ran down, did you know, and they chased him down and he stripped off, so he's in his like jeans and t-shirt, or maybe even boxers, and then just walked past the police in the other direction, and they kept running.
That is probably a very cool version of what happened.
I think because I wasn't there that year, so tails grown arms and legs.
Yeah.
But the year I was there, we burnt the galley on the grass market.
Okay.
And before we burnt the galley, everyone went in this mad frenzy to grab their jackets at the galley, because we'd been keeping them in the galley all night. And when we started the fire, the police came right up to us, slowed down, looked at us, and were singing the Up-Helly-A. Like, I can't remember seeing Norseman's Home by that point, and they just drove away again. And I think they knew.
They probably were slightly intimidated.
But yeah, we used to say 3 cheers at the end of each pub.
Yeah, there was 3 cheers for the host and hostesses of an insert pub name.
So yes, that's kind of relevant to this time of year. But I'm speaking to you about music today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose after I came back home, I work in the school service for the council, and soon after I came home and started work there, then I suppose I took more of an interest in the local music scene. I was always interested in music when I was at university, and I kind of played a little bit of the mandolin, but it was only when I came back that I kind of took it a little bit more seriously and
upgraded to the banjo.
Yep, upgraded. Well, depending on your point of view. Yeah, I started playing the banjo. I remember quite clearly that was 2010, because I there was an old banjo at my mum and dad's, and the Revellers, I'd done some gigs with them covering for Eric on mandolin, and then the boys said, oh, we're down to play the folk festival this year, would you like to play away with us? Do you play anything else? And at the time I actually didn't. I just said I play the banjo, thinking it wouldn't be hard to pick up because it's kind of the same principle as the mandolin, and never looked back after that. I managed to get a banjo off of Dad, and just start playing away, and never looked back.
That's amazing. So you originally just stood in for Eric a couple of times.
Yeah,
he was Louie's brother, Eric Peterson. Yeah,
Eric Peterson, who luckily for me, he is a very good football player as well, and a goalkeeper, and he played for Shetland, and I think it was because he was away with Shetland for a summer or a few weeks, maybe the Island Games, I'm guessing. Then the band had a lot of gigs on that time, and they said, do you play the mandolin? I was like, a little bit. They went, well, here's a CD, can you learn the following tracks?
The Revellers CD.
Basically, Revellers stuff. Hits. It was kind of like that, yeah. Revellers, Galway Girl, all that kind of stuff. They didn't
phone your dad, Gary Peterson, and say it's your boy, and he gave the phone to you by accident, and that's how you joined the Revellers instead of Eric.
Yeah. Well, I think I went to see them, and Eric wasn't playing, he was still away, and I kind of knew Daniel from the band, because he worked with Eric at the time. And I went to see them, and I afterwards spoke to them, and they were like, oh, it's just missing, we're really missing like the mandolin, or we're missing something. So they said, oh, you play, don't you? And I was like, a little bit. And then a part of me thought, well, Eric at that time hardly played, and he managed to make it work. So I thought, like, can't be too bad.
So I've seen the Revellers live, and did they not have a banjo player then?
They have. I think
can't
they have
actually remember. I was at a festival.
They don't have a banjo player as such, but the guy that plays mandolin for them, I think he sometimes plays 5-string banjo.
Okay,
maybe.
Cool. So
not 100% sure.
That's cool. And then, so now you don't just play for the Revellers; you also play for.
Vair. Yeah.
How did that come about, Vair?
Well, for a few years, then me and Ryan Cooper, who plays with a guitar with Vair, of the famous Cooper dynasty.
Yeah.
Very musical family.
Loudy.
Yep. And he's obviously
both sides.
Yeah, both sides of his family, very musical. He's a fantastic fiddle player as well, an even better guitar player. And me and him used to have a lot of tunes. We were in the same Up-Helly-A squad. Again, Up-Helly-A.
Is that Dalton?
This was a Lerwick squad that had a lot. We have a lot of musicians. It's originally a Vidlin based squad, which is why they got a lot of kind of north based boys like Ryan and Ross would be in it, and myself, some of the Grains, like quite musical.
Yeah.
So I think that at one time we had 10 musicians in the squad. So I was in that a few years, and Ryan was in that squad, and we would have a lot of tunes together. Davey Henderson was also in that squad for the folk festival, and he always kind of said to us, you guys should do something together. And then around about that time, I was found myself sharing a flat with Johnny Paulson. He had just moved in, and he was really keen to do something a bit more. He was playing with Scal and Bragg at the time.
Oh, I don't remember him playing with Scal and Bragg.
Yeah, he played for a little while anyway. Yeah,
I kind of mind that.
And then he played with them, and I think he wanted to do something more acoustic as well.
Okay.
So just at that time, and then we were like, well, we'll get Eric in, because me and him have got quite similar music tastes, and we thought if we do songs, then I can get him to sing. That was the kind of thinking behind that. So, and that's how Vair started. And we got, as soon as we started rehearsing, then Davey Henderson heard and told us basically basically said they'll give you a slot at my Festive Spree gigs, which he would get like guest musicians for Soof and have like a long weekend of partying and gigs. And
cool.
That's how that started.
What year was that about that Vair started?
That was 2011.
2011, and you just released your album last year.
Yeah.
What year was that? 2017.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it was 5 years between the band starting and the band recording, which seems a lot, but I suppose when you consider the I suppose there's been members away, there's been members moved south, there's been some of the band have had kids, got married, so there's a lot happened between, and we did have a chance to record way before, and we just didn't think we didn't think our material was good enough, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you first formed the band, did you form the band with the idea that you'd actually get an album out, or did you just form it more just to play gigs and the album just progressed as you wrote more material?
A bit of both. I think it's kind of funny, I think when me and Johnny spoke about it, then the kind of the almost like the ambition would have been to play at the folk festival, like the Shetland Folk Festival with like kind of as a band, and just to play like some local gigs. I think that was probably the initial kind of, that's the step we want to do. That, like if you can do that, then that's really all we want. But then once you get there, then you think, well, actually it would be quite good to do festivals outside Shetland, or it would be good to maybe take it a bit more seriously and record.
Yeah. When we started the metal band Beef Cleaver, it was so we could play at Ox Jam, and as soon as we played Ox Jam, I was like, I'm just in this band so we can play the rally. I just want to get to the rally.
That's what
Let's
happens.
keep going.
And I think it's good. I think you need to, you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, but you do need to always have something to aim for.
Yeah.
Like, and for any project, I mean, it doesn't even have to be music based. I think if you're doing anything that's kind of as a hobby or as a passion, then you need to have a goal, or you need to have something that you're kind of dreaming about, almost something that kind of keeps you going. I think bands that don't do that, that's the ones that's when you might stagnate, basically.
Yeah, that's when you have less impetus. Is that right word?
Yeah,
to
impetus,
rehearse.
momentum.
Yeah. Call to arms. When you've got there's less pressure to rehearse, so you stop rehearsing, when your rehearsals become less focused.
Yep.
And then you'll start getting annoyed with each other and stop being friends and never be a band again.
That, I'm sure that's happened a lot.
Yeah.
All over the world, I'm sure that happens. I think on the other side of it, though, is to always remember that, certainly in Shetland anyway, you have to remember that you're doing it as a hobby, and you can take things seriously. You can take the music seriously, but you cannot take yourselves too seriously as well. You need to remember that you're doing it as it's something that you should be enjoying at the end of the day.
The funny thing about that is that sentence for Shetland also goes beyond music again as well, because if you take yourself too seriously in anything, then there will be a squad about that.
Yeah, well, that's very true. Yeah.
Which is fair enough. But so you're actually, but saying that, you're going beyond Shetland with Vair, because you're going to Celtic Connections.
Yeah, we're playing in about 3 weeks. We're doing it in 3 weeks. Yeah, that feels very soon.
Is this your first time as Vair playing at Celtic Connections?
We played there 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
That was our kind of debut, which was great, but it actually came as a bit of a surprise 2 years ago, because we were speaking about momentum and impetus. I'd say before we got asked, we weren't really focused on too much, and then we got this call for Donald Shaw, the festival director, and he basically said, we'd like you to do a slot, and explained it would be an hour. It was like an hour and 20-minute slot or something like that. And
wow.
We were thinking, oh, that's a lot more than normal. And then you realise, well, you're playing to an audience, to people you don't know. You're playing at this kind of really, quite a big stage. So it kind of made us get our fingers out and a kind of focused practices, a lot more new material, more original material. And it, I think we felt it went really well, and we really enjoyed playing that kind of I suppose that kind of headline slot, like that kind of longer slot, and we felt more comfortable with it probably than the shorter slots that you sometimes play up here. So after that was when we felt more confident that let's make an album. That we felt we actually we've proven that we do have enough stuff now, so let's actually that's our next thing. That we need to record something.
Oh, that's nice. So when you go doing this time, you can actually tack your album where you'd sell. Yeah,
we have something to sell. Like for years at concerts, then we would always say we're making an album. For about 3 years, it's been well, we will have an album out next year, and then you say that, and it just becomes never happens. So it's actually it's not quite used to actually saying. It's
also good because it means it's like at the folk festival here in Shetland. There's never a time of year that I don't buy more CDs than when I'm at the folk festival, because you see these bands, they've got the CDs on them and you had such a great time and you love their music, so you grab it. I think it's such a good way to really stick in people's heads. I'd be annoyed if I went to see you and you were visiting my town and then you didn't give me a CD.
That does happen. There was a few gigs before, including the Celtic Connections gig, that we obviously didn't have a CD, and you can see the frustration on people sometimes. Like, people seem quite annoyed, especially people that maybe don't get the chance to see the band very often. And it's same, up here, there's been bands up here and there might be a song they do you absolutely love, and then you look and that song's not being recorded, and you kind of you miss a chance.
Years to get Lower the Rope. Years.
Oh, right, we did. Yeah, people could download that online.
Oh,
it's fine. But yeah, I know what you mean. You want to physically
CDs.
take something with you for a gig, and at the folk festival is it's brilliant for that. I'm the same. I end up with like loads of CDs in the car all through the folk festival, and that basically does me for the next year.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's what I do. I actually mind when you guys got your Revellers CD done, the first one, Renegades, and we went up to Unst for Unstfest, and it was just after you released that CD that spring at the folk festival, and folk were so excited that they could buy a CD. Because Martha and I ran that merch desk, and there's guys coming up like, sell me a CD. It's like, no. They're like, sell it to me. It's like, you've already bought one. I'm like, no, I haven't. I want one. And we'd have to like go into their pockets, kind of full of drums, and pull out CD and be like, see? I'm sorry, Louis, I should have probably sold him a second CD, but
could have gone platinum.
I know. If we just sold 2 CDs to every person being that Hall and Unst, you didn't have to work.
I think that says more about the state of the folk that day than about the album. But no, it's definitely, for me, it kind of, there's a bit of closure when you've recorded an album in a way that you can kind of step away now. Like you there's like no pressure. Once the album is finished, then
you can put that on and mime to it.
Well, you can, yeah. There's no need to do anything after that. But you do. It's like something that no matter what happens after that, then when you're 60, 70 year old, then you'll have that. And if you don't record, I think there's always that fear that something will be lost.
Yes.
So there's kind of a bit of a legacy, even if nobody listens to it, just to have in your hands, kind of when you're that age, to look at the photos, the artwork, everything. That is a nice, satisfying feeling. That's
with the heavy metal buffet as well, because you get a band who play a brilliant gig and they'd have played an original, but it didn't exist anywhere. And you want to play on the podcast, but you also just wanted to catalogue it, because they always say Shetland's got such a rich musical scene. It's so strong, and it's a shame when a song's written and lost.
Yeah, I think things like the buffet and kind of that type of idea that probably you wouldn't have seen that maybe 10 years ago, but with technology allowing things like that to happen, and there was that little, I don't know what came first, was it the buffet that promoted all the rock bands, or was it just we happened to have a lot of good bands at that time? That I'm not sure what order. You'd probably answer that better than me, but
it's a discussion we have a lot in the buffet, and it depends how self-inflated our egos are with how much we influence the rock scene. Beef Cleaver wouldn't have started if we didn't have a gig to play at, but that's my band Island, so I don't think that is relevant. But I think you do get like waves of a genre in Shetland depending on the musicians that are playing in what bands.
Yeah, I think,
and we rode a wave of metal, but I suppose by providing a platform, then you might get people who are thinking of starting a band thinking, if we start it, we'll play that.
Yeah, and I think in Shetland it's very dependent usually on like a small group of musicians that are very versatile.
Yeah.
Like every generation in Shetland has like certain guys or girls that just they play in about 5 or 6 bands each, and you know, if they go or if they move south, then that's like a whole lot of bands kind of out, I suppose. But that's just because of the size of the place, I suppose.
Saying that, sometimes the buffet was almost like not a good picture of what was happening in Shetland year round, because we purposely planned it when all the students were home. So you have the people like Lewis Murray and Lewis Hall's gone to uni now, who do play in a lot of bands and very well. The 2 Lewises. But so where are you playing this time at Celtic Connections?
We are playing at the National Piping Centre, which we don't play pipes. That's just right in the Glasgow city centre. It's kind of probably like slightly smaller than like some Murillo, so it's just a nice size, intimate. That was where we played last time as well. It's a really nice atmosphere. There's another band playing before us called Farland, which are brand new. They've got we actually know it's a trio, and we know one of the guys that plays in them, and I think it's they're like very good, certainly very good musicians. So I've not heard too much of the band stuff, but they sound really good. I think one of them's been nominated, or he's in the final of the Trad Musician of the Year. So
nice.
He's got I think they'll play their slot on the Saturday night, and that final is the next day.
Oh, so wow!
He'll have a busy weekend. So.
Hopefully they have a CD you can have.
Probably not. I'm sure I read that they're the newest band at the whole festival.
Oh wow!
Like they've only formed maybe this last autumn or something.
Can folk Sooth, like around Glasgow, find tickets for your event?
Yeah, I'm not.
It's all the Celtic Connections website.
Yeah, it'll be Celtic Connections website. It's all linked to the box office there.
And that's Saturday I should know this.
3rd of February.
Oh, the 3rd of February.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, okay. I forgot what month we were in already. Wow. Actually, talking about the months, did you enjoy bringing in the bells because you were playing on stage for the bells?
Yeah, it was really good. Really, really fun. It was quite a hectic day or two, and like huge credit to like the production guys at Murillo that was worked really smoothly, and really enjoyed both the concert and the kind of the Revellers set was really enjoyable.
And you're on with 3 bands.
Kinda, yeah. I was playing. Well, the Revellers had an acoustic set, and then Vair, and then Revellers again. So.
And Homebrew.
Oh yes, I was on Homebrew as well. It was a life ambition achieved.
Because Louie's dad is the aforementioned Gary Peterson of Homebrew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So went on stage to sing the Trowie song.
Yeah, it's funny because me and my brother have grown up to despise that song because people would sing it at us. I think a lot of people for years thought Dad was the singer.
Oh, okay, this must be how Alec Cooper feels about when people go up to him and go Lowry, Lowry. Yeah, which I can't not do.
That kind of the one hit. I always joke that the one hit wonder, but that's a bit harsh. But yeah, me and Eric kind of grown up not really appreciating the song in the same way that other people did, and so it was quite funny that was what we went on to do.
Well, I've always liked the song, but I've only ever known half the words to the chorus. And this summer we went as a group of Shetlanders, and we were in a minibus. And there's too many buses of Shetlanders going down to a party in Cornwall, which we were all invited to. So we were going to go in as geysers. So we all had trow costumes and we had fiddles.
Was this not Mark Kermode's house?
Yeah, Mark and Linda's.
I did hear this.
We were going to go, but we were only arriving at 11 o'clock at night, and they were having like the first kind of pre-party on that night with all these people from around England over at their house. And it's a big group of Shetlanders. We were in the minibus listening to the Trowie song to learn the lyrics, and that's when I learnt the words Clurdy and Voordy Clays and because I used to sing hurdy and who da da, and then so we practiced this over and over again.
It's like
from
the
Edinburgh,
chef from the Muppets.
Yeah, Edinburgh to Cornwall. We got it word for word, and when we burst into the house, we were all so excited and kind of nervous, and everyone was so confused that we were just going hurdy and who da da, and that's how we managed.
Yeah, well, I still don't know the words to it, so you guys have done better than me.
Oh, well.
But I think we that album that was on, then that's the only Homebrew album that I really remember the recording process. So I like that album probably because of that. I don't appreciate that album as much as some of their older stuff because I just heard everything. Did
they record it at the house?
No, but you just heard like Dad would have been listening to practicing it, and we at an age that I like would remember quite clearly. And I remember like there's one of the tunes that he wrote that this is when I remember him experimenting with recording at that time. So that tune, I must have heard about 50 different styles of that tune.
I wonder if he talks about you like this with Vair.
Maybe, I have no idea. I think though it's just because that would have been an age where we were all all staying home, and you remember things like that. And again, an age where I only really appreciated the music side a lot more when I came back from Edinburgh. I think.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't really realise how fortunate we were to be in a culture like Shetland that has so much kind of good quality folk music. And yeah, it's only when you go soof sometimes that you appreciate that.
Well, thank you for speaking to us today, Lewie. And thank you for going to the Vair and taking the Shetland music to a wider audience.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, all the best. Tell us how many albums you sell. Don't forget them.
Actually, that's a good point. Tell Johnny to bring them. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, too.